Imagine a man who has lost everything, not because he's a criminal mastermind, not because he's violent or dangerous, but because he fell into a trap called gambling addiction. So now ask yourself this, does locking him behind bars would ever truly solve their problems, or are we just simply ignoring the disease? I'm Damar from SMAN Surabaya will stand before you to urge you that instead of imprisonment, gambling offenders deserve more than that. They deserve social service and skill training as a way to break the cycle. But before that, 3 points of setup. Firstly, I would like to characterize the vulnerable actors in this motion. So it is the gambling offenders. In our side of the house, gambling offenders are people who involved in the gambling crime, who participate in, and people who are affected with the gambling consequences due to their activity they had in the past. So it leads us to a question: why did they get involved in the first place? So there are many layers of it. The first one is due to social influence and circumstances. This social influence actually convinced them to join, to participate in this gambling activity that would result in addiction. Secondly, lack of education on the importance, on the harms of gambling activity, because they don't know that the activity, that the click that they are doing could result negatively for their future. And thirdly, offenders usually commit this crime to obtain money to pay off gambling debts that they had in the past. It leads to more significant numbers gambling activity. And lastly, as a coping mechanism to manage emotional pain, distress, and many more. So, what are the obstacles that gambling offenders face? The first one is emotional support to bounce back, to stop from addiction, to experience and function as normal people. Secondly, in the status quo, gambling offender lost numerous amount of money due to the losses they had as a consequences of gambling. And our goal as the affirmative side is we would like to ensure that these gambling offenders could stop from the addiction without actually repeating previous habit or system with targeted solutions that we would like to bring up. But before that, a few characterization of how the social service and skill training could look like in our side of the house. So social service look like a rehabilitation where these offenders could get emotional help to address their problem, to address their addiction in many aspects that will be carried on, such as psychological aspect and physical aspect. Social service could look like consultation or therapy and also well-being monitoring. So second, skill training. Skill training is done to provide assistance to prepare these offenders in real-life job after they have finished their rehabilitation process. So this is done in order to equip them with skills, so they will be circling back to previous habit, or circling back to previous habit. There are two burdens approach that I would like to push to the negative side. Firstly, this debate discusses about the effectivity of both methods to achieve the best result for the offenders. So the opposition should convince that imprisonment method is the most visible way in the current status quo. Secondly, at the end of the day, the debate should prioritize the impacts on the gambling offender. Like, is it gonna worsen the condition or even more? So moving on to my argument. Firstly, social service provides more better approach to address the addiction. In comparison to imprisonment only gives temporary effect and doesn't really cater to root cause, because it only focuses on giving punishment without really address the holistic approach of that. So this method only hopes that these offenders will not repeat the same thing in the future, repeat their habit and many more, because they only focus on fixing the fundamental issue. In contrast, social service truly address and mitigate the fundamental issue as well. There are three analyses under this. Firstly, social service provide holistic approach where it consists of multi-layered aspects from psychological, physical, and other like that. So this could look like a consultation or therapy. Secondly, social service truly educates the actor about the danger of the action of gambling itself. So it would lower the chance that in the future they would not repeat the gambling itself or step into this addiction again. And lastly, to serve as a fresh start, because this social service could make sure that they are ready to function as a normal being. So my second argument would be skill training could serve as a long-term investigation for the actors. Because after the rehabilitation, we need to prepare the actors to step into the reality and ensure that these actors don't step into online gambling anymore. Because the purpose of they are doing gambling and stuff is because they need money, while skill training could provide themselves so they could step into the reality and get income sources. Thank you.